Contractors of Colorado. We are back for another Contractors of Colorado podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Lavrins. Today I am here with Matt Crowe. He is with Vectra HVAC and Plumbing. Let's get started. First thing that we do here is a shout out to our sponsors. So shout out to the Business Foundry. Thank you for all of your support. That's where we are hosting this podcast in their media room. I'm a member of their business accelerator. So from website development to marketing, social media, everything, they are taking care of me. Also great mentors, helping me with my business plan, my roadmap, all of that. So thank you, Business Foundry. And to the Builders Outlet, big shout out. These guys supply materials, so doors, windows, cabinets, trim. They have a custom mill shop up in Denver, and they take great care of us. So mention that you're with the Contractors of Colorado. Matt, how are you doing, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Good, man. It's really good to have you.
Appreciate you having me.
So our preferred contractor program, you're it for HVAC and mechanical HVAC and plumbing.
Yeah.
So before we dive into all the fun stuff of HVAC and
Sure.
plumbing world, tell us a little bit about yourself personally. I know you have a family, got some cool hobbies.
Yeah, I've got 3 kids, wife, of course. We're 7, 5, and 2. So
Exciting.
2 older boys and a little girl, and we're busy. So very exciting there. They keep me busy at least. But besides, running around with them, we try to spend a lot of time on the lake, go to the mountains in the winter, and then I just try to pass those things on to them. So I've got my kids in ski school. That's going to be my winter. Love-hate there.
Yeah.
And, besides that, I love old trucks and projects that my wife loves to watch me never finish, and I've been cut off for a while, so that's been good. But just working on that, and I'll show you that later because it is a Vectra mascot.
Cool.
And besides that, I love being on the internet and learning more about the trade and what we do, and just always trying to do better.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we've talked about that ski school, and as I have a 3-year-old this year, and trying to get him into skiing, and man, 12 weeks straight headed into the mountains. That is quite the commitment. So good dad over here. We'll start there. Sounds like a good dad. Business side. Tell us a little bit about Vectra.
Sure.
You're our preferred contractor on the mechanical HVAC side and for plumbing. So tell us about it.
Yeah. So Vectra, I took over in July of 2015. And so my wife and I bought it out from Tim, the original owner. And that was a technician, myself, and a helper out of the house. So, back then, we basically just purchased his light commercial service contracts. And that's where the business started, was light commercial HVAC service. It's now, grown into many different things. So we are residential and commercial. And it's service, maintenance, and retrofit. So not a lot of new construction. We do it, depending, good clients, things like that. People that ask us, drag us into things, for the good and the bad.
Yep.
But so, from 2015 through now, let's see here. I mean, we've grown at about 20 times the size of what we started at. I think we're sitting at about 43 employees right now. We've got, accounting guy, in-house marketing guy. But I think the big thing, and I'm going to get ahead of myself, but we have done a great job of attracting some really talented individuals, and that's kind of where the trajectory has gone. Before Vectra, I'll reverse. I got into the industry through internships back in Indiana when I was in school. And so back then I was working for a general contractor that built hospitals. So I started my time in the industry, building hospitals.
Straight into the deep end.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and then I majored in construction management, and then I did a specialty in healthcare construction, and then I went into that and decided I want to get out of that. Then out of school I got hired by RK Mechanical. Anybody that knows the industry around here, they are the big boys when it comes to mechanical plumbing, and they have structural steel. Like they're great. But anyway, cut my teeth in the mechanical industry with them on the VA hospital. I did some, I think I did some data center work with them, some hospitality work up in the mountains. really learned it from some people there that really know what they're doing. Then I left them and went to work for a company called Murphy Company. They are a union mechanical contractor out of St. Louis. And for them, I did owner direct retrofit work was primarily what we did. So big chiller, we did Rose Medical Center chiller replacement. I spent some time at Cherokee Station. It's a coal-fired power plant, was coal-fired, now it's natural gas. That's up on the north side. So on the north side of Denver, if you see the big smokestack, that's Cherokee Station right off of Washington there. I spent about 9 months there as a contractor on site. So really some, and so as I went through that, I then got the opportunity to buy out Vectra. I saw it. The stars seemed to be good with my personal life. I didn't have a lot of personal obligations. I could make the change without too much financial burden, I guess. And so we just went for it. And, so here we are years before that. Before I got into construction, I worked at a boat dealership for like 10 years from, I think I was 15 through, I couldn't even drive. 15 through, and about 10 years all through college. And that was where my service industry brain started up,
That's awesome.
Which is majority of what I do now.
That's awesome.
So
you have a location, Denver.
We're in Arvada.
Yep. Arvada.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Arvada. And
Yeah.
man, I went and saw it. Very impressive. And the expansion's very cool. Everything like that is.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
It can be nerve-wracking.
Good. I can only imagine it's a
Yeah.
massive space. So good things to come out of you guys.
Yeah.
So location in Arvada, tell us about your service area.
Yeah, so our service area is where the customer will pay us to go. And that's not a joke. That's we have one customer that sends us around all around the state to do maintenance at their facilities. And so that's everywhere. I mean, it's La Junta, Durango, Burlington, Grand Junction, Montrose. I mean, everywhere. I've got a client that I service a ranch down in New Mexico. And that was one of the original Vectra contracts, and we have maintained that one, which honestly, I probably lose money doing it now. But if I told you more about it, you'd understand. It's a really cool property. We're up into Wyoming a little bit right now.
Awesome.
We're starting to. We just got licensed up there. And so realistically, we're not necessarily targeting any direct areas. Our main service area is Front Range. So in and out of Denver metro area, up into the mountains, a lot of Grand County work. But again, we just go where the customers come to us from.
Awesome.
And if they're willing to move forward and it's a good fit, then we do it.
Cool.
So.
I know the team is extremely impressive. You want to tell us a little bit about your team, and I know you hold a lot of master licenses, which was something that I don't run across a lot. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So, and I can't speak for every business, but you'll see a lot where there's one license holder for that trade, and there might be, I've worked for places or worked with places that have 20, 30, 40, 50 guys under one license holder. For a team of about 43, and that includes our office staff, we've got, I think we're at 10 master license holders right now. So that's between multiple different trades. So very lucky there. Our mentality with it is we actually pay for our guys to go to school. We do some in-house training with them. And my mentality is if they leave us and go start their own business, then we've left our stamp on the industry there. So we're very lucky with the staff we've had. We've been able to attract, truly qualified people.
The mentorship side is something that we've talked about at length at this point. I'm very excited to move forward with some of that mentorship stuff. Who knows what it's going to look like, but you're just a wealth of knowledge, have grown your own business, have done business acquisitions, all of that. So that's something contractors, I'm excited to really introduce Matt to this community. You've been a part of for quite a long time now. Do you want to talk a little bit about your involvement with the Contractors of Colorado, just as a testament to hopefully everything that you see the value in what we've got going on?
Absolutely. I think it started back to probably my more pessimistic posting when, look, if you're a contractor and you haven't been burned, you're lying to yourself. I've been burned a lot, especially in the last 9 years. We could talk a whole podcast about getting burned. But at the end of the day, I think it started out with I was trying to find, okay, how do I connect with more people? Obviously, we're not a cookie cutter molded home services business. About 70% of our work is actually commercial, retrofit, and service work. So how do I connect with more people? that are like-minded in their business, find good quality contractors, whether I'm actually trying to be a subcontractor to them or trying to find someone to help us with a need that we have. And so I landed on your group. And it's been not very long, and it has grown massively. And I just, as Andrew and I have talked about it, you and I have talked about it, I've really grown to appreciate what you're trying to do with the industry. I think that there's a lot of, specific industry groups, but no one who's just looking at it from a contractor's perspective and going, okay, a contractor is a contractor. How do we make everyone be successful? How do we grow up better? How do we, get things out there like you're talking about with mentorship of like, look, I can tell you what not to do. That part's easy, but how do we spread that knowledge? And, so I think my involvement with the Contractors of Colorado group is really just to hopefully get involved a little bit, but also be a resource, whether that be the HVAC, mechanical, plumbing, and just hopefully meet some good contractors that are doing good work.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what we can do together in the future. You've been here for a long time, since the start, more or less. And not always good stuff. I mean, we've definitely had our back and forths, but it's all in the name of we want to get better and make this whole industry better, make the group better.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're trying to do with Contractors of Colorado. Some people call it crazy, other people call it great and brilliant. And I'm like, listen, let's slow down. We've got a long way to go, but I think we're off to a really good start. And members like yourself are a huge piece of that. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
So one of the things that I want to talk about that I want to make sure comes out in this podcast is in the name of training and mentorship.
Sure.
How, when I walked through your facility, you had quite the overkill HVAC setup. And I'm looking around, I'm like, there's no way this is just for fun within your building. But then you're like, oh no, this is our training center. Tell us about your training center.
Yeah, so the training center is part of my vision of, having our own in-house apprenticeship program. And I can't take credit for that. That's when I worked at RK Mechanical, they had a phenomenal apprenticeship program. They're more geared towards construction with that. I'm more geared towards service and retrofit, right? So in that room, the idea is that we can teach people how to do maintenance, repairs, how should a boiler system be piped that's proper. I can bug systems. So we have a one wall that is a whole boiler system, and it's got a cast iron standard boiler. It's got a high efficiency boiler. It's got a water heater. It's got every bell and whistle that you could have on a residential system in it. And we can simulate in-floor radiant heating with it. So, the idea is I can teach people, one of the things that takes the most time in my world is purging air out of the hydronic system. So I can actually put air in the system and then make the guys get the air out of it. And there's some words said when they learn how to do that. But we're able to do it, at least we're not in the house doing that. We're at our shop learning how to do that. I've been training the boiler class myself the last couple of years that we put in-house. And so the boiler wall was the next step of that. Everything's on paper and things like that. How do I get it in real life where we can actually, do it, field-based work without being in a customer's house?
Yeah.
So, we've got boiler systems. There's a couple furnace and air conditioner of various types systems in there that are on rollers, so we can roll them and we can live fire them with gas. What do we have? We've got unit heaters, mini splits, VRF systems that you guys, I won't even take into that. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. And the idea is to slowly over time just continue to build out our own training program. Our goal with our core values are knowledge, integrity, and quality. And the knowledge factor is the one I put in there, where our goal is to get around the sales-based nature of the industry at this point and kind of replace that with having the most knowledgeable technicians. So that's where that room comes from.
And one thing I love talking about with you, we could go on 4 hours, and we have. And so I want to, in the name of making a podcast for contractors, I know time's always a factor.
Sure.
So I want to go over a couple more things that I think could be valuable to the community, and that's when you're choosing a mechanical HVAC contractor and a plumbing contractor, what are some things that you want our audience of majority contractors to know about that choice, that decision on who to bring on?
Yeah, so we're talking, just to reiterate, we're talking about the contractor or the consumer's perspective? On
Both, but I think addressing the contractor would be huge.
Sure.
I know we're probably going to end up making collateral and courses on for homeowners and all that, but just at a high level, bringing a company like yours in on a project, what recommendations would you have?
I think that this actually play on both sides of that fence. Realistically, the things that I was thinking about when it comes down to, how do I vet a contractor if I'm a homeowner? Well, the same thing happens on the contractor side. What is the homeowner thinking of me, and what should be important to them, right? Generally, it starts with price, but we can't be too conscious of price in any given scenario because, as you know, there's all these different scenarios that happens. Is it an apples to apples quote? Does the price reflect that? That's probably the biggest one, I think, as a contractor. I think that we start out and we want to be the cheapest. And we forget that, did we even ask the homeowner for what the other guy put out there? Because maybe he's quoting half the work. And it just happened to us. In fact, it was actually, I won't put it out. It was someone I know is their father's boiler system up in the mountains, and the other contractor came up against us, and they were $10,000 cheaper, but they were doing half of what we were doing. And the minute we identified that, the whole scenario changed. You know what I mean? He was like, nope, I don't want to hear anymore. You guys are doing the job. And he's actually adding more to the scope right now as we go. And we're doing that job right now. So I think the big thing is, looking at, okay, as a contractor, know that you're getting vetted by the homeowner, but you have to drive the show. You've got to make sure that you have established your value with that customer. And value comes in many different ways, not just price, right? The price objection is normally pretty easy to get over because, honestly, in my experience, and this is nothing against the small guy, we've all been small. I'm not big, I'm not small, I'm going, I find that we all charge similar in some fashion. So at a certain point, you have to get over that for yourself and for the homeowner and be able to drive that conversation. Other things, though, contractors and licensing, that's a huge one for me. I don't know why you would be a contractor and not get licensed, because it's like a badge. It says that I'm qualified to do the work, and talk about eliminating a homeowner's concerns or a customer's concerns. That's a huge one, and a lot of customers just aren't educated that exists. When you talk about plumbing, people don't know that you have to permit a water heater to replace it. The homeowner can go buy it themselves and put it in themselves, and you can get a homeowner's permit for that. But it is illegal to get a homeowner's permit and pay a contractor to do it. So For me, you can do whatever you want with your house, but it would be a red flag if the contractor says, hey, can you pull the permit for me? I'm going, okay, what are we doing here? And part of that is there are so many code updates and safety things that are supposed to be updated when you do that. And so if you circumnavigate that, you just have to know as a homeowner or as a contractor that you're leaving yourself liable for something. And as a contractor, the more work you do, the more liability. My game is to eliminate liability for myself and the customer.
Yeah.
So
shout out to our general contractor license exam course. You want to become a licensed general contractor, reach on out to the contractors of Colorado.
Right.
We're well on our way getting everything set up and running the course. So we've talked about mechanical HVAC licensing, things like that. So more to come on that side.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, any final thoughts for our community as we wrap this thing up here?
Honestly, just for the community, I think, it's been fantastic watching it grow. I'd like to see it keep growing. I'd influence people to get involved. I think that the tighter knit we get as a community, whether it's construction or service contractors or that kind of thing, I think the big thing that helped me coming up is I partnered with so many other contractors. I used to have a guy who is way larger than us up in Longmont. And I was building his building, and he came at me. I just started talking to him while we were doing the job, and he introduced himself, and he goes, yeah, I'm actually building this facility. And I was like, oh, wow, like, what do you do? And he's like, well, I'm a plumbing contractor. Okay, so I'm a HVAC guy building a plumber's shop, right? And we start talking, and he's like, well, you do boiler work? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he goes, well, we don't do boiler work. He single-handedly helped me build my boiler department for about 3 or 4 years, and that was just started from a conversation. So, we're not in competition against each other. As you know, we actually subcontract. My company, Vectra, subcontracts quite a few people out of the group as well. So, anybody who's in it for themselves, it's just small thinking, keep the community going, and, just keep making it better.
Absolutely, man. That's what we're all about. We host monthly meetups so contractors can do exactly
I
what
put it
you're
in my
talking.
calendar already.
Fantastic. I think it's one of our best events that we do. I mean, there's a reason we do it monthly. It's because the feedback is incredible. I mean, half of the guys that walk out have new relationships or got already. Hey, you seem like a great guy. Can you come check out this project? We need somebody, and you're as qualified as any of the guys I'm pulling off Google. And at least you show up and want to build your business. So, man, it's been really great having you again. We could send this thing for hours, and we'll do a long form one someday. Just wanted to introduce you to the community as our preferred mechanical HVAC and plumbing contractor for our north and south region. So border to border, you're our guy.
You got it. Love it.
Just again, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Shout out to our sponsors one last time. That's all we have today. But the Builders Outlet, again, if you need anything for any remodel projects or new builds, anything like that, that's doors, windows, cabinets, trim, go ahead, reach out to them. They have a custom mill as well. So any of these mountain homes that have some specific sizing and things like that you need, they're a great friend and sponsor of our community. So reach out to them. And then, as always, the Business Foundry, thank you for having us here in your media room. And as a customer going through your business accelerator program, I can't say enough about what you've done for our business. So thank you all. We will see you next time. Have a good one, contractors.